Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dan Stein. I am LaunchPad Creative's Public Relations Specialist, and welcome to today's Marketing Mini. Those of you who joined us for our last episode with Dakota Sweat on how video can elevate your marketing strategy, thank you for coming again today. If you missed that one, you could find the corresponding article of that episode on our website, launchpadcreativellc.com, or our YouTube channel, Launchpad Creative LLC. For today's Marketing Mini episode, we're going to discuss how integrating public relations into your marketing strategy can benefit your firm and how to start a PR program for your firm. Here at LaunchPad Creative, we are focused on marketing and public relations for financial services. However, the principles of public relations that we're about to delve into today can apply to every one of you. I know we have some folks here today that are from some different industries. So again, thank you for joining us. All right, so let's get started here. So before we get into the meat of this episode, I'll start off by saying that PR must really be intertwined into your marketing program in a way in which it works in tandem with the marketing program, and also that the public relations personnel and marketing personnel should heavily collaborate with each other and share ideas, content, and goals that align with the firm's brand image. It's very much a collaborative effort. If you want to successfully integrate PR into your marketing program, it really must be a complementary effort. That's really the key here. As everyone knows, the financial services industry, or those of you that are in the financial services industry that are joining us today, know that the financial services industry is very, very competitive. So if you can use both PR and marketing to your advantage, you will see results that go beyond marketing and PR. You will see better attention to your brand from potential clients, investors, and even existing clients too that maybe don't know your full story yet. PR can really unlock your full story. Public relations is really one of the best tools in your firm's arsenal or a firm's arsenal. And its goal is to build trust for your brand and make you more well-known in your space, whether that's fintech, fund administration, private equity, hedge funds, all of the above financial services industries. And you can really connect with new people and expand your network as well. But the tool of public relations can't work without a voice. And that voice is aimed at building trust and credibility with your audience, the people that you want to have more recognition towards your brand from. So it's important to note slight differences between marketing and public relations because there are some. While marketing encompasses strategies like advertising and social media, PR really goes beyond that to actively shape the firm's public perception through strategic storytelling, and the stats speak for themselves. There's a stat on here that says brands that engage in storytelling see a 64% increase in customer engagement. That's more than half. That is a big stat to reference. There's a couple other stats on here, but I'll just point that one out because I think it's one of the stronger ones. PR is really an element of your communication strategy that can drive long-lasting impact. So whether you're a digital payments platform company, hedge fund, fund administrator, private equity firm, what have you, PR can give you that it factor. So go to the next slide here. So in this slide, we'll detail the main benefits of integrating PR into your marketing strategy, really the meat and main point of this episode. So we'll go through each and every one of these bullets. So first, we'll talk about how PR can expand your firm's reach and impact within your industry. PR enables your firm to connect with more audience across more diverse channels. So leveraging earned media coverage, thought leadership articles, social media outreach, PR enables you to reach new audiences and also reach your existing audience more as well. A single article, for example, can show up on news sites, social media, websites, and more, really every type of online medium that's out there. And that will make you more discoverable. It could even reach millions of people. There's some publications that have, news publications that have a reach of like 50 million people. So it can really expand your audience, it really expand your network and your reach within your financial services industry. The next bullet is that PR can boost how people think about your brand, how they perceive you. Whether positive or negative, we always want it to be positive and impactful. I fortunately have not been a part of anything negative in terms of this, but it can happen. It is possible, but you always want it to be positive and impactful how people think about your brand. PR is instrumental in positioning financial services firms not only as thought leaders, but experts within their own industry. That could happen, or you can do that through byline articles, white papers, press releases, and media placements. Firms and their executives can demonstrate how their expertise fits in their industry with a larger audience. These mediums promote the firm and its leaders, positioning them again as industry experts. So the third benefit on this list is, let's circle back to that trust and credibility that PR fosters that we mentioned a little bit earlier. Not only are trust and credibility the bedrock of any financial services relationship, but it goes for PR as well. PR helps establish these values by positioning your firm's leaders as those trusted experts, as those leaders within your industry. So having firm executives serve as expert voices, whether it's on social media, in the press, it positions them as thought leaders and experts, and that builds that trust and credibility even more. Next item on this list is your narrative, controlling your narrative, defining your narrative. So defining a firm's narrative is essential to engaging with prospective clients and investors in, again, the highly crowded, highly competitive financial services industry. PR offers firms the ability to shape their narrative and control how clients, investors, and even competitors perceive them. So whether a firm highlights its value proposition or not, you don't have to, but it's a good thing to do. So if you highlight it or not, controlling your message enhances the clarity of your business, your firm, and your brand, and it builds a stronger connection with clients, investors, and even your own employees. Last on the benefit list, we have SEO, or search engine optimization. How are you showing up online? PR improves your online presence by getting featured on different mediums. There's a lot of different online mediums. There's a plethora of them. There's always new ones popping up. So every media placement mentioned, featured article, that contributes to a firm's online footprint, again, because it shows up on so many online mediums. So over time, these mentions enhance search engine rankings, and they make you more discoverable online. Let's go to the next slide. So how do you get a PR program started? So now that you know how integrating PR into your marketing strategy can benefit you, you're saying, wow, that's awesome. I really want to do that. Let's get started. I want to start a PR program for my firm because I see the value in it. So how can you get the PR program off the ground? Before I tell you that, there's one key thing that you have to take into consideration and you have to assure is there. So that important thing to know is when you first start a PR program is that you need to have the buy-in from the folks around you at your firm. So before you go through this checklist of how to get a PR program started, the PR team, your executives, you have to be on the same page. Everyone has to be on the same page. They have to know what the expectations of the PR program are. They have to agree on those expectations, and they have to agree on what content's being shared and how it's being shared. So one way to do that is you hold an introductory meeting to PR with going over those expectations and those goals of your PR program with key executives at your firm and key decision makers. Once you do that, it's time to get started on this checklist. Again, buy-in from executives and the people that will be heavily involved in the PR program that aren't directly the PR team is key before you start this checklist, because you don't want to get to a point where you are going through this checklist, starting the PR program, and you don't have that buy-in, and then one of the executives or one of the key decision makers at your firm says, I didn't know we were doing this. I didn't sign off on this. Like, I'm not on board with this. Why are we doing this? You want to establish that before you start the PR program. So let's go through how to get started. First, defining the goals of the PR program. What are you looking for out of the program? How do you want to position your firm? Are you looking to establish yourself as an expert on a certain topic or sector? For example, let's say a fund administrator client that does PR is heavily focused on private credit fund administration. They'll want to become a top voice on private credit and develop content and do media interviews around private credit. It could be something very niche as well, which is usually the case. They want to do something, very specific, not just private credit as a whole, but something within private credit and what they do. In this case, fund administration. So could be something very niche, such as how does fund administration technology evolve with the fast growing private credit sector? How do they kind of, keep pace with each other? So the client will want to position themselves as an expert on that specific topic and that niche as their goal. And these goals can always change and always evolve. You can always find different niches that you want to cover and you want to focus on for your goals and objectives. But this would be an example of one that, possibly a client would want to start out with. So the next thing on the checklist is you have to identify your audience, find out the who and where. Who do you want to see your PR content? Where do you want it to appear? For example, industry publications are a good place where you find your target audience. The client wants to show up frequently, let's say in Private Equity International or the Drawdown, very niche industry publications where their audience is reading content. Alternatives Watch is another one that I've worked with in the past because these are investors that are reading these publications. These are clients that are reading these publications. These are LPs that are reading these publications. The client wants to make it a long-term goal also to end up in a bigger publication like Bloomberg or CNBC because the business community and Wall Street at large reads that content as well. So it really comes down to identifying who your audience is and where they are reading content. A lot of them read these industry publications, these niche publications, and then a lot of them read the top ones like Bloomberg and CNBC as well because they're big business and financial publications. So once you have the first two items on this list on how to get your PR programs, on the how to get your PR program started checklist, it's time to develop a public relations plan. So you will identify which PR tools to utilize, whether it's commentary, thought leadership, webinars, etc. A bunch of different kind of content that you could tap into here. So after that, after you establish what type of mediums that you want to utilize in the PR arsenal, it's time to execute the PR plan. Put all those parts into motion. So you start distributing that content, start distributing those thought leadership pieces, those press releases, sponsoring webinars, setting up PR opportunities, developing relationships with the media, influencers, and even analysts in your industry as well. You might start off by writing a byline article on how active funds could beat passive funds. That's one topic that I've seen come up recently. And you pitch it to a handful of industry publications like we mentioned before. Or pitch the byline idea to a podcast, set up an interview with, possibly Financial Times. That's a big one. There's a reporter there named David Thorpe that covers that topic. So you really have to find, okay, you put the PR plan into motion, you execute the plan, you find out what topics you're going to be talking about, and then where you could pitch those topics and get those PR opportunities. Last on the checklist is you will find out how effective the PR program is, measurement. So is the PR program meeting those goals and objectives that you identified in the first bullet of the checklist? You have to measure key performance indicators. One is scope of voice, which is how often you are mentioned online. You compare that to how much your competitors are mentioned online. And you could also break it down by specific topics and sectors. And this allows you to really establish a benchmark that you can improve upon, usually on a quarter by quarter basis, but you could do it month to month, week to week. It can really be customized on how you measure your PR program. But scope of voice is a big one because that's how much you're showing up online, how much you're mentioned online, and you usually always compare that to competitors as well to see, where you're at, where you can build on from there. The numbers and analytics are very important to this checklist, and it's the last step after you've established your goals and objectives and everything else on the checklist. The biggest takeaway from this episode and the idea of integrating PR into your marketing strategy is that The financial services space, again, it's very crowded and very competitive. Everyone's looking to stand out. Everyone's looking for that edge, that it factor that we mentioned, but that's not easy to do. It can be done, but it's not easy to. You got to put in the effort. You have to put in the research, the planning, all of the things that we mentioned in the how to get started checklist. You have to really hone in on. But with public relations, that trust, credibility, and the relationships your firm has will allow you to stand out. And you could build those things with public relations. Public relations is really a crucial component of an effective and cohesive marketing strategy. So if you're interested in learning more about what we have to offer and you have any questions for us, or if you would like to inquire about starting a PR and marketing journey with LaunchPad Creative, don't hesitate to reach out to us. You can call me, email me, find me on LinkedIn. My contact information is in this slide. I'm always happy to answer your questions no matter what. I really hope you enjoyed today's marketing mini episode on the benefits of integrating PR into your marketing strategy. As I mentioned, you can find this episode and others on our YouTube channel, LaunchPad Creative LLC, or visit our website, launchpadcreativellc.com, to learn more about us, how our marketing PR programs for financial services could possibly help you. And again, I'm always happy to answer your questions. Thank you so much for joining today. I really enjoyed this, and I hope you did too. And have a great one.